when I see polls that don't show what I would like, I might look into them a little bit, but I'm not the sort of person that just blanket will not accept a poll that doesn't tell me what I already want to believe. There's a lot of people that are actually like that though, particularly on the right. There was a fight on the 5 on Fox News recently because polls were showing that Harris was tying Trump. That's the argument they were having. I would say a lot of the polls are showing that she's leading him. But they didn't even want to accept, some of them, that this thing could be a tie. It is very tight. And they eventually threw around the phrase, it's a knife fight in a phone booth, which people always use for situations like this. But they got kind of into it over it, and they're not alone in that. On social media, you might have seen this yourself, dear viewer. They don't like polls that don't show Trump winning. This account showed a Fox News poll, and they were so mad that the Fox News poll had Kamala Harris up 5 points among all adults, 6 points among likely voters. It's a national thing. It's not even the most important sort of poll. That they said Fox News poll accurate? Hell no. Only the Rasmussen polls are accurate. Only, of all the polls, only Rasmussen. They consistently show Trump ahead, so obviously they're the right one. And now with the RFK Jr. capital E endorsement, Trump is surging in all of the USA. There's no evidence that the endorsement is helping him. I would assume that it probably will. It doesn't classify as a surge. RFK Jr. wasn't surging all across the USA. And the idea that only Rasmussen would count, why? Why of all of them? Not even Fox? But I have more bad news for that account. If Rasmussen is the only one that counts, well, stay away from the tracking poll, because the tracking poll has added some of the newer polls. And if we could bring this up, you'll see that, blue line now higher than red line for Rasmussen. And I don't personally put a lot of stock in Rasmussen because I feel like they're always out of the mainstream, including what I would consider right-wing pollsters. But she's even leading in that, okay? And the replies to that, we'll just put up some of these as we talk. They're not super happy. Like, they're saying that Rasmussen's an outlier or panic-inducing. How is this possible? It's clearly an outlier. My heart can't take this. I have seen one Harris sign. They are so focused on the signs and the boat parades. They think that those are the only ways to register support for a candidate. And I just think, Sharon, that there needs to be more classes for kids at a young age about what anecdotal evidence is and how polls work and how they're constructed and all that, because we as a people are not well situated to evaluate facts, I don't think. But what do you think?
No, because of our bias, we're programming certain things to do certain things based on our gut outcome wishes. And so you're right. We should also teach them that where they get the information and from who obviously matters, just like apparently news does today, the angles, all of it. I think that the polls are going to probably let us down again. And I think it's ironic that you mentioned that the Fox News talent, I can't think of another word, on the 5 were arguing about this, because anytime Trump gets a bump or, after the debate or the RNC, they're just saluting the polls. They're bowing down about how accurate they are. But we should not be surprised, because remember, they dissed the one guy who called the election. They were like, why are you doing this? Why would you dare tell the truth? So yeah, I mean, it'll be fun, but I don't know if I even want to look at the polls or any of those. What do you call the things where the people come out, John, of the booth? They've just
Exit
voted,
polls?
and the exit polls, and we realized that after a while that people were lying. Oh yeah, I voted, and they were deliberately jacking around with the pollsters. I just think everything that's up is down and right and left. It's just nutty nowadays.
Yeah. By the way, look, if anybody watching this is like, I'm just not interested in the polls, I would rather just focus on doing as much as we can. Well, I don't think of it as an either or. You should definitely do everything that you can. Right. I get that. Some people are more interested in polls than others. I tend to be really into them. Producer Mike is an aficionado of polls. And like, not being interested is one thing, but the people who are like, I'm perfectly happy with a poll if it tells me I'm right, but if it doesn't, then screw it, it's fake. Like, and I say I want to be nice because these are not only people on the right. I feel really bad for those people because that is not how you should function. Like, you should try to understand the world a little bit. Like, not everything needs to agree with you. Like, for 1 sec, can we bring up this final graphic and then we'll end this segment. But this final graphic, maybe they were combined. But I want to talk about just a couple of the comments here. Ricardo says, Rasmussen, you are better than this. What are you talking about? It's not a moral failing to report a result. What has Kamala done in recent days that would cause her to now lead in the polls? That's not their job. They're not like only supposed to report the polls if they can lay out a causal argument. They're just polling. Maybe ask yourself, what has she done in recent days that would change the results? Or like, amazing people want communism. But do you understand that you are making yourself incapable of understanding the real world? No, they don't all want communism. They're also not voting for communism because she's not a communist. Like, you are deluding yourself into being unable to process the information that enters your brain. Why do people do this? Why are they more comfortable in this way? We try by doing these segments to get people to understand that sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up. And like Trump will even say, he said recently, and then the polls were better, and so suddenly I like the polls. He tells them that he's fake when he talks about them, and they still can't learn the lesson. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.